Dumbass Love Parnez basically who's a associate to Dumbass Giuliani, had basically stated that 45 had knowledge of Ukraine pressure, and we already know that 45, even if he's implicated in a crime, will not admit to any crimes being committed because he's never going to take responsibility for his own actions anyway. Coming out of Washington from the Associated Press, a close associate of 45's personal lawyer, Dumbass Giuliani, is claiming 45 was directly involved in the effort to pressure Ukraine into investigating Democratic rival Joe Biden. Dumbass Love Parnez says he delivered an ultimatum in May at Dumbass Giuliani's behest to the incoming president of Ukraine that no senior U.S. officials would attend his inauguration, and vital American security aid would be withheld if an investigation into Biden wasn't announced. He said 45 was aware of Dumbass Giuliani's efforts to secure an investigation, and the squatter was briefed regularly. If true, Parnas's account undercuts a key Republican defense of 45 during the impeachment investigation that 45's withholding of vital military aid last summer wasn't a quid pro quo for Biden's investigations. 45 knew exactly what was going on, said Dumbass Parnas, a Soviet-born Florida businessman, facing a raft of criminal charges related to the campaign finance violations. He was aware of all the movements. I wouldn't do anything without the consent of Dumbass Giuliani or the squatter. Parnas made several potentially explosive claims in a televised interview Wednesday night on Rachel Maddow's show. The day after Dumbass Parnas said he delivered the message, the State Department announced that Vice Squatter inbred Mike Pence would no longer be attending the inauguration of Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky. Dumbass Parnas alleged that 45 ordered inbred Pence to stay away at the behest of Dumbass Giuliani to send a clear message to the incoming Ukraine administration that they needed to take seriously the demand for an investigation into Biden, who is a Democratic presidential candidate seen as a potential threat to 45's re-election plan. Dumbass Parnas said that every communication he had with Zelensky's team was at the direction of Dumbass Giuliani, whom he regularly overheard briefing 45 about the progress by phone. Dumbass Giuliani called Dumbass Parnas sad. I feel sorry for him, Dumbass Giuliani said Wednesday in a text to an AP reporter. I thought he was an honorable man. I was wrong. None of you guys are honorable. Asked directly if Parnas was lying. 45's asked directly if Dumbass Parnas was lying. 45's lawyer replied, "I'm not responding yet." Dumbass Parnas said he also heard Dumbass Giuliani and another 45-aligned defense lawyer, Victoria Toesing, brief an Attorney General and Brett Barr by phone about their efforts to pressure the Ukraine government to announce investigations into Biden and his son Hunter. Barr was basically on the team. Inbred Barr was basically on the team, said Dumbass Parnas. The Justice Department said in September that 45 had not spoken to inbred Barr about having Ukraine investigate the Bidens, and that the Attorney General had not discussed Ukraine with Dumbass Giuliani. Justice Department spokesperson Kerry Kupak, said Wednesday that Dumbass Parnas' claims were 100% false. No, they're not. Full coverage about the 45 impeachment. The new accusations came as House Democrats made public a trove of documents, text messages, and photos from Dumbass Parnas' smartphones that appeared to verify parts of his account. The documents, released just ahead of the start of the impeachment trial, could raise pressure on the Senate as it debates whether to hear witnesses. A federal judge earlier this month ruled that Dumbass Parnas could provide the materials to Congress as part of the impeachment hoax. At least that's what 45 calls it, but it's not. Of the impeachment proceedings, Democrats voted in December to impeach 45 for abuse of power and for obstructing Congress. A House committee chairman said his panel will investigate what he says are profoundly alarming text messages among the newly disclosed materials that have raised questions about the possible surveillance. A former ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, before she was ousted by the 45 administration last spring. The messages show that Robert F. Hyde, a Republican candidate for Congress from Connecticut, disparaged Yovanovitch in messages to Dumbass Parnas and gave him updates on her location and cell phone use. Representative Elliot Engel, who's a Democrat from New York, who chairs the House Foreign Affairs Committee, said the messages are profoundly alarming and suggest a possible risk to Yovanovitch's security in Kyiv before she was recalled from her post. These threats occurred the same time that the two men were also discussing 45's efforts through Dumbass Giuliani to smear the ambassador's reputation, Engel said. He said the committee is seeking assurances that proper steps have been taken to ensure the security of Yovanovitch and committee staff. The text and phone records show Dumbass Parnas communicating with Dumbass Giuliani multiple times a day before Yovanovitch's removal, as well as handwritten notes that mentions asking Ukraine's president to investigate the Biden case. Among the documents is a screenshot of a previously undisclosed letter from Dumbass Giuliani to Zelensky dated May 10th, 2019, which was shortly after Zelensky was elected before he took office. In the letter, Dumbass Giuliani requests a meeting with Zelensky as a personal counsel to 45 and with his knowledge and consent. The Associated Press reported in October that Zelensky had huddled 3 days earlier on May 7th with a small group of key advisors in Kyiv to seek advice about how to navigate the insistence from 45 and Dumbass Giuliani for a probe into the Bidens. He expressed his unease about becoming entangled in the American elections, according to three people familiar with the details of the 3-hour meeting. They spoke on the condition of anonymity because of the diplomatic sensitivity of the issue, which was world U.S.-Ukraine relations. One of the documents released by Democrats is a note from Dumbass Parnas written on a stationery from the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Vienna that says, "Get Zelensky to announce that the Biden case will be investigated," which Zelensky's name in that letter was misspelled. Parnas told Maddow he took the note as he was speaking by phone to Giuliani, receiving precise instructions about the demands 45 wanted to convey to Zelensky's team. 45 asked Zelensky in July 25th call to investigate the Bidens. Hunter Biden served on the board of a gas company based in Ukraine. Parnas and his business partner, Igor Fruman, both U.S. citizens who immigrated from the former Soviet Union, were indicted last year on charges of conspiracy, making false statements, and falsification of records. Prosecutors alleged that they made outsized campaign donations to Republican causes after receiving millions of dollars originating from Russia. The men have both pleaded not guilty. Dumbass Parnas' lawyer, Joseph Bondi, told the New York Times that his client is looking to cooperate with prosecutors in his case for investigating Dumbass Giuliani and his dealings in Ukraine. "We very much want to provide substantial assistance to the government," Rudy told that Bondi told the Times. Excuse me. Dumbass Parnas told the newspaper that although he didn't speak with 45 directly about the efforts, he met with the squatter on several occasions and was told by Dumbass Giuliani that 45 was kept in the loop. In several of the documents, Dumbass Parnas communicated with Dumbass Giuliani about the removal of Yovanovitch. The ambassador's ouster ordered by 45 was at the center of the Democrats' impeachment inquiry. Yovanovitch testified in the House impeachment hearings that she was the victim of a smear campaign. 45 on the July call told Zelensky that Yovanovitch was going to go through something. She had been recalled from her diplomatic post roughly 3 months earlier. On April 23rd, just before Yovanovitch was directed to return to the United States, Dumbass Giuliani texted Dumbass Parnas. He fired her again. Parnas texted back, "I pray it happens this time. I'll call you tomorrow, my brother." After texting about the ambassador, Hyde gave Dumbass Parnas detailed updates that suggested he was watching her. In one text, Hyde wrote, "She's talked to 3 people. Her phone is off. Her computer is off. He said she was under heavy security and we have a person inside." Hyde texted Parnas that they were willing to help if we or you would take a price, and guess you can do anything that Ukraine with money, and is what I was told. Lawrence Robbins, an attorney for Yovanovitch, called for an investigation into the messages. In a Twitter post Tuesday, Hyde called Dumbass Parnas a dweeb and suggested the messages about surveilling the ambassador were a joke. He said he welcomed an investigation. Dumbass Parnas, in return, also said Wednesday that Hyde's text shouldn't be taken seriously. The text messages show that Dumbass Parnas consulted Dumbass Giuliani in January of 2019 after the U.S. denied a visa to former Ukraine Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin. Dumbass Giuliani replied, "I can revive it." The following day, Giuliani told Dumbass Parnas, "Oh, it's going to work. I have no one in it." Dumbass Giuliani then predicted he will get one before giving Parnas the phone number for Jay Sekulow, the leader of the squatter's personal legal team. Sekulow is expected to be part of 45's legal team during the impeachment trial. 45 has repeatedly denied knowing Parnas and Fruman, despite numerous photos of them being together. Among the materials released from Dumbass Parnas' phone this week were more photos of him with 45 as well as the squatter's son, Inbred Jr. 45. First daughter, and then 45's daughter, wife of Ivanka, and her so-called husband, Jared Kushner. Asked by Maddow about 45's denials of knowing him, Parnas Dumbass Parnas said he had spoken one-on-one with the squad with 45 numerous times. He lied. Dumbass Parnas said of the squatter. I mean, we're not friends, me and him. We didn't watch football games together. We didn't eat hot dogs together. But he knows exactly who we are and who I was especially.